Hi all, this is a brief overview on Fleet Commander Lorca, how you get him through Vindicator Refinery. There's a daily pull. Um, Once you have him unlocked, you will also start getting his, well, not once you get him unlocked, you will also start getting his skill points. The most of his skill points you are going to get through incursions, and I urge everyone to spend every single point that you get in incursion on Lorca skill points. Cool. So this is Fleet Commander Lorca, and this is how I've sort of gone through it. Right, this is 30% impulse speed after destroying one ship. This is 30% impulse speed while in waves. I don't think I need to explain. This is absolutely amazing. This is absolutely useless. Grab that, you'll be super happy. Isolytic damage used to be a lot more important than it is now. Still very important. I think it's a very useful skill. I would grab this when you can. Maybe a tier 2 skill, see what you've got left after the main ones have got. This skill is incredibly important. This is effectively going to trigger whenever your opponent has a state. Um, this will be triggered off all your Voyager below deck officers, to which end I urge everyone, if you haven't got the NXOT refit, to get that immediately. And once you've got it, spend every single rare credit that you have on max pulling that. If it costs you every rare credit that you have every week, every 2 days to max pull that officer pool, I cannot stress how important that is. Having those below deck officers maxed as soon as possible is going to power up your gameplay incredibly. Now, if you think about this, you've got 22% base crit, so plus a few modifiers here and there, but 22% plus 20 gives you 42%, plus 30% from a Titan buff gives you, and then plus another 30% from Cerritos, that's 100% crit. No crit officers required, you're reaching 100% crit chance. This is going to be one of your major sources of shoring up any differences that you have of remaining crit chances. These are not so important, and I wouldn't bother with these until you've finished other stuff, especially with these other things. This percent is just very, very low, and its base weapon damage not so important. However, this base weapon damage increase is crucial. This is how you're going to you're going to hit up on Krenum solos. You can do this twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoons, has about a 10-hour cooldown. And this is probably one of the most important skills, if not the most important skill on this Fleet Commander, in my opinion, in terms of what it allows you to do and furthers your gameplay. Shooting up on a Krenum solo, giving you enough to pull the 4 chest rather than the 1 chest, infinite value. And I don't think there's any stage in the gameplay where this is not useful. I would grab this, max it as soon as you can. It is expensive, it is worth it. Moving on. This is just for research materials. It is quite a cheap one. You can do it maybe tier 2 after, once you've got the main ones. This one, completely pointless, and I'll tell you why. When it used to be really good, however, recently they've given us access to a Terran favor that this on the 5th bonus, they've mixed them up, giving you 6,000 tier up and 1,250 protomatter instead of other way around, which was unintended, meaning that you are absolutely swarmed with tier up catalyst. You will effectively never use that, even to the point that you actually actively do not want this, because you're going to have so much tier up catalyst that during an upgrade event you want to use it. So you actually don't want this efficiency, so you can score more and use more of your tier up catalyst. This side, however, absolutely crucial. Artifacts are a massive part in the game. This is an absolute must-have. Alright, these are parts and resource efficiencies. I would say these are very important. Depending on, so as you can go, these two are really important. Ship parts, a little bit less so. G4 people are struggling with ship parts, we know that's a thing. This does help. However, beyond that, it's not as important. Scraps really power the G5 ship parts. You generally don't have a problem with ship parts. every bit of efficiency does help. You can put a couple points in here, but I wouldn't stress too much over this. With these said, um, uh, the efficiencies now are given a lot easier now that we have in event stores. We have access to the prime ship engineering and prime ship parts. Um, those So it does get a little bit diluted. However, those are still very important. This especially is a very important node, I feel. On here, nothing is really important. I wouldn't, you can grab a point here and there. This, however, this cancels out ROM. And now that people have access to prime, the prime attacking, delay kind of thing, from the Alliance tournaments, people might start getting that, and then you might want another point in this. But if that's only for base defense, and that's very niche. It's very expensive skill. I wouldn't put too many. I wouldn't put a second skill in there. The first one can be quite cool once you've got all the important ones. And that's my breakdown on Lorca. As always, with everyone's gameplay is different. What you find important will be different to me. I don't find, for instance, these important at all. These these stats are so diluted by the amount of bonuses that we get from other stuff. I feel like 1,000% even at max, you hardly notice it. If you want to add it, all power to you. There will be a small power increase, but I feel like, priorities elsewhere. Anyway, that's how I use Lorca. Enjoy.